What is going on, guys? The Inside the Blue podcast, and today we are talking about the New York Rangers and their recent play. And I mean, it's been good. It's been very good. It has been really no concerns, in my opinion. I think there are some concerns with Mika Zibanejad and maybe some other players, but I think we've definitely appreciated this start. The goaltending has been phenomenal, like it was last year. Igor Shesterkin with another 40-save performance against the Ottawa Senators. And I mean, with Igor Shesterkin, it always comes up with these elite starts and his contract, because we know he rejected a deal of going to pay him $88 million in total, 8 years, $11 million. He rejected that. So now you get into a question like he's betting on himself clearly. He's clearly betting on himself to show to the NHL that I am the best goalie in the world and I am going to be the highest paid netminder. But I think just for a Ranger standpoint, as good as Igor Shesterkin is, I don't think you can pay him like $12.5 million, even though it's kind of what his camp thinks, that's what his agent thinks. And I think there is definitely a world where that makes sense, but in terms of real business and how teams flow and how NHL teams work, you don't really see a highly paid goaltender that takes them far. I mean, despite Sergei Bobrovsky with the $10 million, that's probably the most you're going to see. You're never going to see a goaltender paid the $12.5 million if that's what it comes down to. And also, if you're going to sacrifice the majority of the cap space with Igor Shesterkin, what do your cup chances look like? What players are moved out that you would have liked to keep, but the contract with Igor Shesterkin is limiting this? It's tough. But I think we all appreciate what Igor Shesterkin does for the New York Rangers, because I mean, another great win. You could probably argue it's a stolen win with how many shots Ottawa was getting, and just the pressure, right? The Rangers could not get much pressure on Linus Ullmark, but when they did, they capitalized, right? Lafreniere with a power play goal, Artemi Panarin with a nice goal. And by the way, Artemi Panarin and Lafreniere, that line has been unbelievable. It's been unbelievable, and it's been their best line, of course. Their first line, I could definitely make an argument that it's not even their second best line. I think their third line and fourth line have played better and deserved more playing minutes than the Mika Zibanejad line with Riley Smith and Chris Kreider. Now, according to today, they made some minor moves, and Lafreniere and Panarin have jumped up with Mika Zibanejad in their preview practice against the New York Islanders tomorrow. Do I love the move? No, I don't love the move, but I think this move is mainly to get Mika Zibanejad going. The Lafreniere and Panarin effect with Vinny Trocheck has been amazing, right? That's been your best line. So I think this is mainly a move for Peter Laviolette to try and get Zibanejad going. You have two elite playmakers and a goal scorer that just has not been scoring, right? Mika Zibanejad, we've seen him put the puck in the back of the net numerous times. Granted, mostly it's on the power play, but I think just for the Rangers, they need to get their number one center going. And I think you could definitely say that Vinny Trocheck has probably been your number one center, but I think just from a business standpoint, Mika's making more than Vinny Trocheck and Filipino. You got to get him going. And also, if Zibanejad can give you a 35-goal season, the sky is the limit. I think there's a real chance if he plays like that, you could definitely win the President's Trophy again. It's going to be tough with how Winnipeg has played, Dallas, and all these other teams having great starts to their season. I'm not shocked the Rangers are having this start. I expected this. They have too much talent for them not to have a start like this, and the kids are showing up. Will Cooley has 8 points on the year. Capo Caco has 6 points in 8 games. And Filipino has been a great center so far. And, of course, the goal is for Filipino to stay healthy and he could produce a really solid season. I mean, we saw in the first 6 games of last year, I'm pretty sure he was at 6 points, and it was all 6 assists. But with Filipino being healthy and everything working, you get Zibanejad going. I mean, it really helps this squad out. And I think just with everything that's been going on, I've been really liking the start. And another thing that has popped up with a bunch of Ranger fans and the Ranger fan base has been Matt Rempe. Matt Rempe, of course, I think the fan base is very split on him. I think it's just depending with how you want to structure your lineup, right? When you're playing a more physical team, fans pivot to playing Rempe because of his size and his physicality. But other fans like myself I don't think when it comes to winning, Matt Rempe is your answer for the fourth line. I think you already have that big size advantage with Adam Edstrom on the fourth line with Carrick. Veazey's coming back now. I much rather see Edstrom in the lineup consistently, which he has, than Matt Rempe. Matt Rempe, he's only getting 3 to 5 minutes a night, and when you play tough teams like the New York Islanders and like other metropolitan teams like the Devils, Hurricanes, Capitals, you can't afford to having a guy like Rempe take up minutes from a guy like Johnny Brzezinski or anybody else who's fighting for that fourth line spot, because when games get tight and you need your fourth line to get out there, you can't have Matt Rempe in the lineup. And if you do, then you have to make minor changes. Like you sometimes have to put Kakko with Johnny Brzezinski and Sam Carrick or something like that. Like you have to move lines around to try and get Rempe in, and when you can, you got to make moves. And I think just for Peter Laviolette, I think that's too stressful. I think there's way too many decisions that have to make, and you have to be perfect on them, because if you throw Rempe out there and he allows a goal, then it's like, I don't think Matt Rempe's going to play. Now, he was assigned to the Hartford Wolfpack, the AHL affiliate of the New York Rangers. I think he should stay there. And I think also with Jimmy Veazey coming back from that injury, we're not going to see much of Matt Rempe anymore. And I'm not hating on the guy. Like, I love Rempe. I love the physicality he brings and all that. Like, for me, it kind of reminds me of when Ryan Reeves was in the lineup, right? Kind of a liability on the defense. No offense. I love Ryan Reeves. I loved how he played. But when it comes down to big games, when you need points early on in the season, you can't really put in guys like these big enforcers. And especially to have 2 on 1 line. Like, you already kind of have that one with Edstrom, but I think I definitely argue that Edstrom has better skating, better stick work, better defense. All that, I think, is why Adam Edstrom stays in the lineup over Matt Rempe. And it's been kind of the talk of the year, right? With Matt Rempe, when should he be in the lineup, when should he not be in the lineup? The Rangers, I believe, now are 6-1-1 without Matt Rempe, and they're 0-1-1 with Rempe in the lineup, losing to, I believe, the Washington Capitals and another team. I can't really remember who they played, but it's tough because Matt Rempe was such a fan favorite last year, right? He fights Matt Martin in his debut in the Stadium Series and all of this. Fans are sometimes pissed that the Rangers don't have enough physicality, so they plug him in the lineup. You know, he was the big talk of the playoffs last year, right? He scores the opening goal against the Capitals and, provides some physicality and all that. But I think if it means for the Rangers to be that Stanley Cup contender team, I'm not saying like Rempe's holding them back so much, but I just think when it comes to lineups and it comes to big decisions, I don't think his name can be in those big conversations. I'd much rather have Johnny Brzezinski, right? Brzezinski is like your utility guy, right? He could play center, he could play the wing, he could play on the penalty kill, he could do all that type of stuff, win your face-off in the defensive zone. Matt Rempe can't do that. And I know they're two way different players. One's 6'8", one's probably 6'2", and a buck 80. While Rempe's this big, strong guy, but I think the fans do love him. I think Peter Laviolette loves how he brings the physicality every night. He brings the energy and all that. But when you take tough teams on, I don't think Matt Rempe's going to play. And I think that is just something that is unfortunate for everyone who loves him. I'm not saying I hate the guy or anything that. I think just when it comes down to wins and you got to put your best lineup out there, and I don't think Matt Rempe's that. But getting into some other stuff, kids. Lafreniere, of course, has looked great. He earned that extension of, he's getting that money now. He's on a long-term deal, and I think that is something that I talked about the previous season, is with both them. Capo Caco and Alexis Lafreniere need to take that next step, and I think that we're starting to see that with Caco. I mean, 6 points in 8 games is nice. That is real nice. He's playing good defense. He's making the right plays with Cooley and Hedl. And Hedl being healthy is huge. Of course, we need that guy healthy. He's such an underrated center. He's such an underrated player when healthy. I mean, he scored 20 goals before. He's been a good center overall. Just need him to stay healthy. Please, please, please stay healthy. And Will Cooley, man, I mean, we see what he brings, right? He brings that speed element. He brings the forecheck. He brings everything that you would want. His entire line is a plus 20, if not better. So putting that line late in the game to maybe stop a top line is huge. I've said it multiple times that the Rangers need 4 lines that are going. Right now, I think they kind of have maybe 2 to 3. I don't think that first line is really taking that big step, and I think that's probably, a problem if we're talking about negatives, is that Zibanejad's got to get going. I mean, they talked to him in an interview, and he said he's thinking too much, and I think that's definitely the case. I mean, there's some times that he's not shooting the puck. He's seeing Kreider backdoor. Now, that's going to work a lot of the times, but let's not forget that Zibanejad has a good shot. He has a good shot. I'm not saying he's got like an Austin Matthews type shot, but he's got an underrated one-timer when he wants to hit the net. And that's another problem, missing the net a lot. He's great on faceoffs now, and I think that was a worry a few seasons ago. He was more like that 48% guy. Now he's in the 50+%. That's been another strength with the Rangers in the tenure of Laviolette. They've been a better faceoff team. With Gallant, they weren't a great faceoff team. With David Quinn, they were awful. So, really liking the start with the Rangers, though. Of course, got to catch up on them. Can't forget about them. And let me know in the comments below of how much you think Igor Shesterkin's going to get. He declined $11 million by 8 years. So, I guess getting back into extension talks, assuming he probably keeps his play up, he's got like a .923 save percentage and like a low 2 goals against average. Is he going to be the first goalie that's going to make $12 million a year? And I do question another thing. Like, we've seen Hellebuck, we've seen Jeremy Swayman, we've seen Jake Ottinger all get extended, Linus Ullmark as well. They're all getting that $8.25 million a year, or just in that $8 million range. Do we think, from a NHL fan perspective, that Igor Shesterkin is a whole $4 million better than Connor Hellebuck and Jeremy Swayman? I could definitely make the case that he's better than Jake Ottinger and Linus Ullmark. Not $4 million better, but I think for those two goalies, he's definitely better. But I think when it gets to Connor Hellebuck especially, I don't think Igor Shesterkin is $4 million better. But I think he's going to get a big lump of change. I think he's going to get a very big contract. Of course, Chris Drury is definitely probably pushing buttons to their camp to try and get an extension done. He already got a Lafreniere contract extension done, and I'm glad they settled with that $7.6 million, and it was under 8. And he's only going to have an even better season, Lafreniere. Don't have to worry about a contract anymore. Now that really frees him up. He's looked great skating. He's made a bunch of plays. He's getting to the hard areas. He's scoring goals. He's really helping out this team. But I think if Zibanejad can get going in this Islander game and really, really just start putting up goals on the score sheet and putting up points at a consistent rate, maybe we'll see the Zibanejad we've seen a few seasons ago. Maybe putting Lafreniere and Panarin helps him a bit. I don't think that line is going to be very, very much a big thing. I think it's really just we're going to try and get you going. We're going to put our two best playmakers on the ice with you, see what you could do. But I don't think that's going to be like a big change. Like, I don't think they're going to go 5 straight games with this type of lineup. I think it's just a change. They definitely are allowed to make a change. I mean, it's really just to spark Mika Zibanejad, because I think Peter Laviolette and that staff know if that guy can get going, then for the NHL, look out for the New York Rangers, because that is a guy that can score 30 goals in this league. He can definitely score 40. We've seen him do it in 2019. I know that's 5 seasons ago, but everything is in place that Mika Zibanejad can succeed. Now, I know, to get to our final topic, is it worth really stacking the number 1 line with taking out Mika Zibanejad and putting Lafreniere in? I know you don't have to change much because you've had a great start to the season through your first 10-plus games. It's an option. I think you could definitely make the case that they could put Alexis Lafreniere on, or you pivot to 2 strong groups. You could really stack the power play 1 group, or you can make them 2 slightly balanced. I still think we can maybe see a change. Maybe they put Filipino there. Maybe. I think that's probably your best bet, is taking Zibanejad off the power play 1 line. I think that's only going to motivate him to try and get back to that power play 1 line. But yeah, that's going to conclude another Rangers catching up episode. Teams look great. Really no issues. No issues on goaltending. No issues on really much, in my opinion. I think Zibanejad's been the biggest worry. Matt Rempe's got sent down to the AHL Hartford Wolfpack. And that's going to do it for another Rangers episode. Of course, smash that like button. Leave a comment below of what your thoughts are on the recent changes of Zibanejad getting moved with Alexis Lafreniere and Artemi Panarin, and Matt Rempe getting sent down to the Hartford Wolfpack. But that's enough. That's another episode, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.